Good evening. The road to Karachi passes through the creek. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's chilling warning to Pakistan amidst reports that Pakistan is ramping up military infrastructure along the Sir Creek border. That's a disputed area, but it's not just Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. It's the Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi. He's warned if Pakistan does not stop cross-border terrorism, in the next phase of Operation Sindoor, Indian forces will not show the restraint that's been shown so far. In fact, he's asked his troops to be ready. He's in fact indicated that DSF could have a role to play across Baar jaake baithna hoga or words to that effect. And Air Chief Marshal AP Singh, he said India is aware of terrorists changing their bases from Pakistan's Punjab province now to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So Pakistan clearly has now been put on notice.
India puts Terroristan on notice. A warning of Pak's very existence being at stake.
वो संयम नहीं रखेगा जो सिंदूर 1.0 में हमने संयम रखा। हो सकता है पाकिस्तान को सोचना पड़े कि उसके इतिहास में भूगोल में रहना है कि नहीं रहना।
Raksha Mantri issues a Karachi ultimatum.
पाकिस्तान को याद रखना चाहिए कि कराची का एक रास्ता क्रीक से ही होकर गुजरता है।
Op Sindoor is India's power, Pakistan's humiliation.
Pakistan losses are concerned. We have struck a large number of their airfields and we struck a large number of their installations.
Three clear voices, one message. Terroristan, behave. That's the big focus on India first.
Pakistan, a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror, has been put on notice. And trouble mounts for Pakistan in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The uprising is escalating despite Pakistan Army's brutality and that brutal crackdown on thousands of protesters who remain on the streets in this march to Muzaffarabad, demanding just their very basic rights. Atta, they don't even have flour to eat. No jobs, no electricity. Now the Ministry of External Affairs, they've reacted to these latest developments in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, saying Pakistan should be held accountable for the atrocities in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The other major development we'll talk about, Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi is set to visit India in the coming week, and New Delhi and Kabul look to focus on how India can help the people of Afghanistan better. Remember, there are historic and civilizational ties between India and the people of Afghanistan. This visit is hugely significant. Muttaqi, in fact, has been granted exemption by the United Nations Security Council to travel. We get you details. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Pakistan's made a U-turn on Donald Trump's Gaza plan support. Pakistan's Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Ghulam Ishaq Dar in Pakistan's parliament has said Trump's 20-point Gaza plan is not Pakistan's plan, and that words to the effect that they were not shown the documents that were shared in public, or the plan that was shared in public was not the one that was discussed with Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif. And this comes after Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif and Army Chief Asim Munir faced massive backlash across Pakistan, including them being called traitors to the cause over acceptance of Trump's Gaza plan, and a massive departure from Jinnah, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, talking about not accepting Israel or only accepting a two-state solution if Jerusalem was a part of Palestine and not Israel. So announcing his plans last week, American President Donald Trump had claimed both Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif and Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir were, in his words, 100% with him on the Gaza plan. Now, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar says the 20-point Gaza plan and the plan that was announced by Donald Trump this week was not in line with the draft proposed by a group of Muslim-majority countries in Washington, D.C. Trump's proposal mandates that Hamas, that Palestinian terrorist organization, should disarm and will have no role to play whatsoever in either running Gaza or remaining in Gaza. It also lays out terms for Israel's phased withdrawal from the Palestinian territories and a swap of hostages and the reconstruction of Gaza, the bill for which would be footed by the Arab states. The problem? An unclear pathway to Palestinian statehood in the near future.
How to end the war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East. And let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been incredible, incredible. Every single one of them. Pakistan, they were with us right from the beginning, incredible. In fact, they just put out a statement that they fully believe in this pact. It just came out just as I was walking around. They said, sir, you have a big notice from the Prime Minister of Pakistan and from the Field Marshal that they back this 100%.
I want to quickly bring in India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan for the latest on this big story. Geeta, this does appear to be furious backpedaling by Ishaq Dar after Donald Trump claimed not only that Pakistan was 100% behind this plan or with him from the very beginning, it's also Shahbaz Sharif who took to social media platform X to congratulate Donald Trump on this plan. Explain the reasons for this backpedaling and what's Ishaq Dar saying now?
Well, the massive backlash back home. Gaurav, remember, Israel is not a friend of Pakistan, and every Pakistani has grown to know that. There was a recent spat between Israeli and Pakistani diplomats at the Human Rights Council where the Israelis called out Pakistan for the terror infrastructure in their country. They're no friends, and to appease Donald Trump, to appease the American president, we have Pakistan's premier, Pakistan's army chief, bending over backwards. But they have to respond to the public and to the people of Pakistan. So yes, massive backlash. They will have to think politically whether it will go down well with them, for their party, for their politics in their own country. And it's the reason why we're looking at them tempering down. Look at the words. He's saying that they were not part of this entire Gaza plan, but he stops short of calling it anything else, saying let's not politic over it, because he knows that if they respond to more than this, beyond this, then they could get into trouble with none other than President Donald Trump himself. And that's not something that Pakistan wants at this point in time, at this juncture.
But Geeta, this is almost Pakistan saying either Donald Trump is a liar or Donald Trump misled Pakistan. Either ways, Donald Trump will not be very happy about having hosted Asim Munir twice and Shahbaz Sharif in tow the second time.
Well, absolutely. There was an Arab world, Muslim world, a summit level meeting that was held in Washington, D.C. And according to Washington, these leaders and these countries were apprised. They knew what was happening. For Shahbaz Sharif, for Ishaq Dar to now come out and say that this is not ours, we were not part of it, we weren't party to the fine print of the deal itself or the plan itself, is something that Washington will not take too kindly to. But then again, he was rather circumspect, Gaurav, when he said, okay, it's not our plan, but let's not politic over it, let's not go beyond. Because here Pakistan is treading a very, very, very dangerous line, so to say, because this certainly will be noticed by Washington, and we'll have to wait and see how Washington reacts to this major partner and a great leader that Trump calls walking back on his word.
Well, that's been Pakistan's long history. It's just that public memory is short. लेकिन ऐसा सगा नहीं जिसे पाकिस्तान ने ठगा नहीं. Geeta, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. But it's a chilling warning for Pakistan, and it comes from India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. There's also a warning from the Chief of the Army Staff and from the Chief of Air Staff. Rajnath Singh warned Pakistan that a road to Karachi goes through the creek. The Army Chief warned Pakistan that if cross-border terrorism does not end, the geography of this region could change again. unless Pakistan learns from history. He also told his troops to remain prepared. Action could come soon. The air chief gave details of Pakistani losses during Operation Sindoor. 4 radars, 2 command and control centers, 2 runways, 3 hangars, 10 aircraft, including 5 in the air. Massive ramifications, and several of these were US-made F-16 aircraft. So what's the message to Pakistan? We get you more in this report.
और कुछ ऐसी कार्रवाई करेंगे कि हो सकता है पाकिस्तान को सोचना पड़े कि उसे इतिहास में भूगोल में रहना है कि नहीं रहना है।
India's military top brass have issued a blistering warning to Pakistan. From Anupgarh in Rajasthan, Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi tore into Pakistan. His words, no more restraint, no more patience.
इस बार भारत देश पूरी तैयारी के साथ है और इस बार वो संयम नहीं रखेगा जो सिंदूर 1.0 में हमने संयम रखा। इस बार हम आगे की कार्रवाई करेंगे और कुछ ऐसी कार्रवाई करेंगे कि हो सकता है पाकिस्तान को सोचना पड़े कि उसे इतिहास में भूगोल में रहना है कि नहीं रहना।
In Bhuj, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh turned the heat up further. His message on Sir Creek, don't even dream of misadventure.
अगर सरक्रीक इलाके में पाकिस्तान की ओर से कोई भी हिमाकत की गई तो उसे ऐसा करारा जवाब मिलेगा कि इतिहास और भूगोल दोनों बदल जाएंगे मेरे साथियों।
Meanwhile, Air Chief Marshal AP Singh detailed for the first time what Operation Sindoor achieved. Pakistan's fighters shot down, their radars and runways blown apart, their command centers reduced to ruins.
हमारे किसी एयरबेस में कुछ गिरा हो, कुछ लगा हो, कोई हैंगर डिस्ट्रॉयड हो, कुछ हो, जो इतनी सारी पिक्चर्स हमने उधर की दिखा दी, वैसे एक भी पिक्चर वो नहीं दिखा पाए हमें। सो उनका जो नैरेटिव है वो आई थिंक उनके जो वो मनोहर कहानियां हैं।
India's defense leadership has sent one blunt message to Islamabad: stop sponsoring terror or face consequences beyond rhetoric. Bureau Report, India Today.
There's another major development that's taking place, and that's Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. It's literally burning. There's trouble for Pakistan from Gilgit and Baltistan, its so-called northern areas, part of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, to Baluchistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir is being called a traitor for virtually his sajda to Israel and to the United States of America and accepting President Trump's 20-point agenda on Gaza. Is that why, to shift focus from domestic troubles, Pakistan could try something like Pahalgam last time to something in Sir Creek this time? Remember, even in 2008, the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, the Pakistani terrorists had taken the sea route and changed their boat in this Sir Creek area to attack Mumbai. Joining me on India First is Air Marshal Deeptendu Chaudhary, former Commandant of India's National Defence College and author of Indian Air Park, Contemporary and Future Dynamics. Dr. Tara Kartha is former Director of the National Security Council Secretariat. Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, he served in Pakistan, former Indian diplomat, Ambassador to Italy and Consul General in Karachi. Also with me is Senge Sering, is a very well-respected human rights activist in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, currently in the United States of America. Welcome. Dr. Tara Kartha, your assessment of Rajnath Singh's chilling warning to Pakistan on the road to Karachi passing through Sir Creek?
I think what you just said is absolutely spot on. We've got to look out for another Pahalgam like precisely because just days ago was the Quetta suicide bombing, if you noticed, and the president Dari blamed us. So, and there are other inputs which have come in, which shows that these guys are going to try something. So I think that warning has gone out. If I was still in the NSCS, I would put all alerts on. You know, this is the kind of situation I would look out for. And this, I think we should see in that context. Sir Creek, I've been there. I've been right up to the last, border pole. This is an area where infiltration happens. And we've seen also through the sea, through land, there's been all kinds of stuff going on there, though, and we don't have the armies not there. It's the BSF not to run down the BSF, but we do have a limited presence there. So I think that warning has gone out, which is why the defense minister, the army chief, and the Air Force chief have all decided to come out with these statements to
Because there's
try
something, yeah, to try. Go on, ma'am, complete your point.
and tell Pakistan that, listen, you lost last time. They have not
Yes.
accepted till now, and trying to tell them for their own good that you
Yes.
suffered very serious losses.
But they
Accept
don't
it.
care about Pakistan. Asim Munir would only care about himself. And Ambassador Dogra, if you were to look at his personal glory and gain after Pahalgam, Pakistan may have faced serious reverses, including their air force. But Asim Munir's stature increased. He became field marshal. He's traveled to the United States twice. Of course, because now he's being called some kind of a salesman in a departmental store. Will he try and shift focus once again? Your reading of the defense minister's message, the army chief's message, air chief and the army chief saying words to the effect, history will repeat itself. Geography can change again.
Well, firstly, Asim Munir. He is an extremely cunning person, and he has a chip on his shoulder because he was not the so-called direct recruit. He came in through the officer training school. So he's not spoken of with great respect in the regular officer corps in Pakistan. The second thing, coming to the larger point which you raised about his motivation, his extension is coming through in November. And while most speculations are, well, he'll get it at least till 2027, if not another entire 5-year term. So in order to ensure that his extension is not questioned, there's no obstacle, nothing can be put beyond Asim Munir. He may even try some kind of a major terror attack in India. And I think that possibility or a sense that it is developing is what has provoked such strong statements, starting from defense minister to Air Force chief and the army chief. Normally, I don't recall 3 of the top the minister and 2 chiefs combining to issue a warning, not just to Pakistan, but also to the world, that, look, don't blame us if situation goes out of control.
And
Because
all of this is happening in border areas, whether it's happening in Gujarat or happening in Rajasthan. The forces, the chiefs, they're all at the front lines, as is the defense minister, Air Marshal Chaudhry, and the air chief. He exposed Pakistan's false narrative on their so-called Op Sindoor or Banyane Mursus or whatever they may call it in their country. The damage caused to Pakistan, loss of 5 aircraft in the sky. Any air chief would have gone home after that. But as far as Pakistan is concerned, they've gone and they're promoting themselves or seeking extensions. 5 aircraft lost on ground, the radars that have been lost, the airfields that have been targeted. More than impacts just morale, sir, and a hit 300 kilometers deep inside Pakistan that changes the nature of warfare.
Certainly. Let's just go back to history. 1965 war started at the Sarkri in the Kutch region. And that area is extremely fragile in terms of the kind of terrain it is, because the run of Kutch is, the coastline varies seasonally with the water logging, and it's an incredible difficult area. But Pakistan has been operating there on and off for a long time, has been making efforts to keep the trouble, and that's like Ambassador Kata brought out, that's an access route as well for them. So that is something we need to bear in mind. Second aspect which I want to bring out, that with the trouble in the PoK area and now Kutch and the Sir Creek region coming into prominence, it's an indication. It's a possibility of shifting of strategic focus. Shifting India's diversion away from the region in the north. So that's the second aspect. The third aspect is when under the present geopolitical circumstances and the internal challenges which Pakistan is facing, I won't be surprised today if Pakistan considers, I'm sure, because deep inside you don't know how the machinations of the minds work, that they would look to create trouble to divert attention from inside So that is why I think under the circumstances when when the defense minister, the army chief and the air chief bring together and, statements which you bring it out together, I think it's a clear warning to Pakistan that I think it'll be dangerous for them to mess with us. The air chief's scorecard, which he brought out, I think it showed enormous restraint and maturity that we didn't tom-tom this in the past. And the fact that we have brought it out now is a clear indication to tell the world, look, this is what actually happened. And it's a clear warning to Pakistan. Should they venture in this direction, there'll be serious consequences. And this time we will not hold back, as the defense minister very clearly brought out.
Both defense minister and army chief making that point that this time we will not hold back. Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi having earlier said that now there is no distinction between state actors and non-state actors. If there is something, there will be consequences for both. Before I come to Senghe Sering, sir, give me a moment. I want to play out a report for the benefit of our viewers, because Pakistan does not let information filter out. But the situation in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir right now is so bad that Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has also had to react about the situation there. Now, Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir is burning. Officially, Pakistan admits 9 lives have been lost. Police have fired point blank at unarmed protesters. The unofficial figures are much higher. And this is the third year, 2023, 2024, and now 2025, when people are out asking just for the very basic development, their basic rights, and saying, at least don't steal our atta, don't steal our flour, at least let us eat food. I'll get you more on that. But first, this report.
A lot of these players are new. Natalia, who comes from Kashmir, Azad Kashmir.
No end to Pak provocation. This time it's women's cricket after Pakistan's humiliating loss in Asia Cup. Former Pakistan cricketer Sana Mir has stoked a row on PoK. During Women's World Cup commentary, Sana Mir introduced a player as hailing from Azad Kashmir.
A lot of these players are new. Natalia, who comes from Kashmir, Azad Kashmir, plays in Lahore a lot of cricket. She has to come to Lahore to play most of her cricket there.
The former Pakistan skipper issued a clarification on social media which only made matters worse. Instead of apologizing, she insisted her words were harmless and blamed websites for mislabeling and claimed people were politicizing sport. But her own words that PoK is a region in Pakistan only cemented the propaganda line. This isn't just about cricket commentary. It's about narrative warfare, using sport to push Pakistan's falsehoods. And the timing couldn't be more damning, because Sana Mir's comment comes at a time Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is on fire. From the Jhelum Valley to Muzaffarabad, thousands are marching, defying curfews and internet bans. At least 12 are dead in clashes. Protesters say police opened fire amid state-sponsored suppression. Journalists were beaten, protesters were assaulted, and cameras smashed. The very people Pakistan claims are Azad are today rising against their occupiers. To be held accountable for its horrific human rights violations.
We believe that it is a natural consequence of Pakistan's oppressive approach and systemic plundering of resources from these territories, which remain under its forcible and illegal occupation. Pakistan must be held accountable for its horrific human rights violations.
So the contradiction is clear. While Pakistan's elites peddle fantasies of Azad Kashmir, the ground reality is blood, bullets and burning streets in PoK. Bureau Report, India Today.
Senghe Sering is a very well-respected activist from Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, hails from the Gilgit-baltistan area. Sir, more than 68 days of protests had taken place in Gilgit-baltistan. Now, for the third year running, PoJK is burning 2023, 2024, 2025. Very little information filters out. What's happening in PoK?
Good morning from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be in a great company right now. Unfortunately, my region, the part of India that I come from, which is in Pakistani occupation, it's burning there, and we cannot be, happy about that. I just heard through your program what Sanami you said. Pakistanis are known for their emotional cruelty and cold-heartedness, and they do not waste any moment, any time to benefit strategically from anything happening, in the region. And this brings it, hundreds of people are there injured, people are on the street, dozens killed because they want their basic political rights, they want basic autonomy and freedom. And yet Pakistan is busy, trying to gaining strategic benefits from that. That brings us to the point that, whether it's men or women, whether it's people in the military uniform or civilians, they're all part of this foul play against India. They're part of the strategic tool that they use Gilgit-baltistan and Jammu and Kashmir for. It also reminds us how the Palestinians do that against Israel. They use their women, they use their children. So Sanamir is just part of that ISI tool. And what she said today, trying to gain benefits at a time when local people are dying on the streets, when we do not hear, any basic needs being met or given to them. They have lost trust in Pakistan because Pakistan has failed to provide security to the region, and they are trying to raise voice to join India. They're trying to raise voice to join a country that could provide basic constitutional rights to them, which have been denied to them for the last 75, 76 years.
Okay.
And it's the same in Gilgit. You saw, all the way on Chinese border. If you look at that picture behind me, it is not from Gilgit-baltistan. That is in Pakistani occupation. You must have seen it before. It's from Shasgam.
Yes.
This is the Chinese occupied Gilgit-baltistan. I come from Shigar district, and this is part of the Shigar district that Pakistan and that China occupies right now. So this collusion of China and Pakistan that has destroyed our economy, that has destroyed our livelihoods, that has destroyed our people's, peace and tranquility in the area. I think that will only end if we rejoin Ladakh, if we rejoin our lands on the other side of line of
I
control.
sincerely hope it happens sooner than later,
basic
sir.
constitutional rights.
Absolutely. Stay with me for a moment, and Ambassador Dogra, I want to come to you for a moment. But before that, Nikhil Naz, our consultant editor sports, joins me on this show. You know what Sanami said, Nikhil, that would hurt at multiple levels, and especially at a time when she talks about so-called Azad Kashmir. Ground realities are so different. There is nothing Azad about that Kashmir. People are being shot dead at point-blank range. So why does India permit all this Pakistani propaganda in cricket matches if we are so powerful on the cricket field?
Well, Gaurav, first things first, you're absolutely right. I mean, when you look at this comment, it's not a stray comment. Remember, it comes in the aftermath of what we witnessed at the Asia Cup. What is to say that there was no ulterior motive by Sanamir when she mentions Azad Kashmir in commentary? And what's interesting is, first she goes on to say it comes from Kashmir and then corrects herself and then says Azad Kashmir. Eventually, once you say that on air, and what's even worse is that you should actually come out and then apologize, and you can come out and say that maybe, I grew up in a country where they referred to that region such as that, and I didn't know any better. So I would like to apologize for anything that I may have said that may have hurt the sentiment of anyone. Contrary to that, she's actually not come out with any sort of an apology. She comes out and says in her explanation, saying that one, this was part of storytelling, and this is, how you tell a story, which is all very right. You can tell a story without actually referring to that area in the correct name or the way it should have been. So that doesn't stand or doesn't hold, water at all.
No, and what is worse, her clarification is malicious, Nikhil, because she says it is a part of, in Pakistan. It is not, it's an illegal custody of Pakistan. If I know she's Pakistani, she may think it's Pakistani, but as in international cricket, she has to follow international terminology, and if she doesn't, then if India is so powerful in cricket, unless monies are God and not our honor, neither she nor people like Mohsin Naqvi should be part of any cricket that at least India is ever associated with.
Well, not just India. I'll give you an example, Gaurav. Dean Jones is someone who I've worked with for a very long time. He said a very controversial statement while he was on air, and that actually was the time where he kept the mic down, and that was caught on audio. There were a few viewers that took exception to that and complained about it, and after that, for 2 years, he couldn't do commentary. What Sana is saying at the moment is that she saw a website, and that website happened to mention that. That's why she went ahead and said it. She's not issued an apology. So there has to be some sort of an action taken by the ICC at the moment, because remember, as soon as you hold the mic, everything you say, doesn't matter what your source is or which website you're looking it up, you have to say the right thing when you've got the mic on hand. So clearly there is some sort of an action that needs to be taken against her, especially in the time where she's not even issued an apology. And I think that is the crux of the matter, that when she goes on air, she should know exactly how everything needs to be referred to. And here clearly she's made a mistake. I can see on social media there are plenty of people that are up in arms suggesting that what she has said, she better apologize for that and shouldn't have been said in the first place. Just basis that, there has to be action that it needs to be taken against Sanamir at the moment by the ICC without even the BCCI pushing for it.
And if that action is not taken, then perhaps we know where loyalties lie with money or the country's honor. Nikhil will keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. Nikhil, for the moment, many thanks. I want to bring in Ambassador Dogra once again into this conversation. Ambassador, you've served in Pakistan. Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir has erupted in the past, whether it's 2023, 2024, 2025, and I'm not even going back to earlier times. This time, is it more intense? Because of this, Pakistan's Prime Minister has been forced to react. Your appreciation of the situation on ground right now?
Well, I'm glad you brought in Mr. Senghe Sering, because the next problem for the people of Gilgit-baltistan, after Pakistan gifted away a chunk of their territory to China, is the fact that even there, Pakistan is trying to change the demographic complexion. Yes. They are bringing in Punjabis to settle there, despite protests from the local people. Now, this is where the problem started in PoK, because right from 1947, unlike us, where our leaders said that refugees from Pakistan will not be settled in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan ensured that Punjabis coming out of mainly Indian Punjab were not allowed to settle in Punjab in large numbers, but taken in large numbers to PoK to be settled there so that they could change the demographic complexion. And the result is that today more than 50% of the people are Punjabis. They are the ones who are thriving. They are the ones who are running all the large businesses. They are the ones who are getting all the large military contracts. The local population is starved financially. Can you imagine a population of 4 million people has only 5,000 income taxpayers? That is why the kind of clothes that these poor protesters are wearing are such a sharp contrast to our Jammu and Kashmir, which is prosperous, which is thriving. So basically, it is human rights violations, it is the poverty of people, and it is the apathy of Islamabad to what they claim is their territory illegally occupied, that people are frustrated.
You know, I think India should be speaking out more, and I think leaders from Jammu and Kashmir, Dr. Tara Karta, should be speaking out more against Pakistan's atrocities on people in Jammu and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, including Gilgit and Baltistan. But given the trouble in every part of Pakistan right now, Gilgit-Baltistan, as Senghe Sering pointed out, for more than 60 days, Pakistan-occupied Jammu Kashmir, Muzaffarabad right now, Baluchistan burning, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa burning, trouble in Sindh. For Asim Munir to remain in power, and especially when he's being called a traitor right now for his sajda to Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, is this time that he'll try some diversionary tactics? This is why India must be very careful right now?
You know, if I can just say one comment on that, the cricket aspect of, this girl being from
Sanamir,
yeah. The Pakistan's Attorney General, June 2024, he said in court that POK is not part of Pakistan. I mean, so if she has doubts, she should go and look at that ruling, which he said is not part of Pakistan. So, well, never mind. But I think you're spot on this. That chaos which we saw in Parliament today in Pakistan, where everybody's pulled up saying, what are you doing? You've overturned our whole policy. So it is, I think, entirely likely that to try and get out of this, which is what he did last time in Pahalgam, when they came under pressure from everybody, they launched Pahalgam, that they would try something like this. There is trouble everywhere. And I think Sengi Sering will bear me out when he says that in POK in particular, and of course Gilgit-baltistan, the number of corruption cases, these people are fed up of the elite sort of having a blast there. They have the best, they have the cars, they have everything which the others don't. No power, about 1 hour of power a day. I mean, this is not something.
Imagine.
Yeah, so they are in really, and they provide Pakistan with all the hydropower resources which the state has, which is immense. So Pakistan depends on them from power, but they themselves don't have any electricity. So this is expected. Balochistan is expected. Gilgit-Baltistan, absolutely expected, because the traders there are crying because their trucks are pulled back and the Chinese trucks are allowed to come in. So how long will this go on?
And Senge Sering, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a report in Pakistan submitted by the so-called Prime Minister of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where he said that PoJK generates some 2,300 megawatts of electricity. Their requirement is just about 300-400 megawatts of electricity, and they don't even get that. In Gilgit and Baltistan, there's 23 hours of power cuts in sub-zero temperature, and that's why people hate the atrocities by Pakistani Punjabis on both GB, Gilgit-Baltistan and PoJK, Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Is that a correct appreciation? And tell me, is Pakistan reacting very adversely to Asim Munir's sajda to Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, I mean, it's true that not only they do not get electricity, but if they have a chance to get some kind of trickle down electricity after Punjab has been satisfied, they get it at 2 or 3 times more, per unit rate than the Punjabis get. And I want to come back to Dr. Tara. She was saying that 60, 70 years ago, they gave away Shasgam for some crumbs from China to get help from Karakoram Highway. Now they're going to the United States and Saudi. They're trying to sell their minerals to get more benefits. And what are they getting in return? They're getting protection. They're getting military protection, strategic protection from these countries. And our situation, as far as China is concerned, is going to get worse. And, there will be far bigger protest in Gilgit-Baltistan, let me tell you. Because why? The Chinese company had signed an agreement with Pakistan to establish a special economic zone in Gilgit. And they're saying it is going to create about 10,000 jobs. Who's going to get those jobs? Not the local people. It is going to be the Pakistani Punjabis. It is going to be the Hans coming all the way from, central China and Xinjiang. And they will be getting those jobs. So I think our situation is going to get worse and worse. Pakistan has used our land just as to hedge and get more benefits for international community.
But you raised a very pertinent point.
Let me bring one more point. Let me bring
Go
one
ahead,
more
sir.
point. They keep talking about whether they have inflicted big damage on India during Operation Sindoor. But then right after Operation Sindoor, what you see is that, the tail between their legs, they ran to the Chinese, they ran to the Saudis, they ran to the Americans. Why? They're trying to sell every remaining part of, whatever assets they have, whether it's minerals, whether it's some other assets, to get military protection from those countries. If you had a decisive victory, if you were so sure about your own success, you wouldn't be running, going like, headless chicken all around the world.
Yes.
That shows that you were defeated decisively, and that's why you have been exposed, and now you want international community to stand with you, and that's why you're selling yourself so cheap.
And Marshal Chaudhary, that's the point I wanted to come to you for. Will Pakistan get the protection it seeks? Will it prevent India's response next time? God willing, a preemptive strike to prevent any loss of life on own side. If it is protected by Saudi Arabia, has this mutual defense pact, or America protects it, will that deter India's actions?
my personal view is this: that the strategic, the deal with the struck with the Saudis is an entirely different kettle of fish. And if they think tomorrow that the Saudis are going to come to Pakistan's aid, should there be an India-Pakistan conflagration, is something I think it's an overstated assessment on their part, because we have to look at it in a very different dynamics of it. Pakistan saw this as a strategic opportunity to expand its presence and its influence in the region by stepping in, getting in this deal with Saudi, and it is it was sort of dancing on its toes. The fact that moment the kind of importance they were given in the US, but that is also already unraveling. So clearly, there is much more to politics, geopolitics in the world than Pakistan's own assessment of what it sees as a strategic opportunity and how they deal with it. My personal feeling is that when it comes to, if it does come to a situation like this, the indications are clear. I think Indian leadership has sent out a clear message that under the present circumstances, it's a clear warning that do not venture into any misadventure with India at this point in time. And I think that has been clearly underscored by the defense minister, by the army chief, and the air chief.
I hope Pakistan terror is punished harder and deeper, but there's another development that's taking place and it's big, and stay with me on this big story. Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi will be visiting India soon, and this will be his first official visit after Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan. He arrives in Delhi on the 10th of October. There was some talk that he may visit a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror to ease tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan. But Muttaqi is heading to India, marking this the first visit by an Afghan foreign minister since Taliban came to power. Do keep in mind, India does not formally recognize the Taliban regime, but India has consistently helped the people of Afghanistan, given the civilizational ties India enjoys with the people of Afghanistan. After the recent earthquake in Kunar, India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, he not only rushed aid to Afghanistan, India was the first responder, he spoke directly to Amir Khan Muttaqi on the 1st of September. The two had earlier met in Dubai this January. Afghanistan condemned the Pahalgam terror attack, a position that isolates that state sponsor of radical Islamist terror, Pakistan, even further. So with Muttaqi's visit, Kabul is sending a strong signal to India. It wants closer ties with India, development ties with India, whether it's healthcare, food aid, medicines, education, infrastructure development. I want to quickly bring in Ambassador Dogra into this conversation. How do you see the Taliban foreign minister's visit to India, sir?
Well, a couple of ways one can see it. You remember Kandahar?
Yes.
Taliban was very much involved there. So from that
that Taliban with Pakistan regime, and now the tensions with Pakistan and between Pakistan and Afghanistan, sir.
So from that point onwards to today, there's a sea change, 180-degree change. And that change has happened because India this time did not shun Taliban, but kept a line open through aid, through contacts, through even setting up some kind of a diplomatic representation there without recognition. So all that has gone well. And what has gone particularly well is the fact that Pakistan has betrayed the Taliban regime in Afghanistan, as you also pointed out. A second indication, besides the traditional relations, people-to-people relations, and Afghans' regard for India, is the celebrations that broke out in Afghanistan after India won the Asia Cup. So they are spontaneous recognition of the fact that Afghans, including their government, want the relationship to develop. And India took care to approach the UN, get the approval of the sanctions committee before inviting the foreign minister. So his visit here, almost a week long, is substantial. And I hope it further develops the understanding, which is already reasonably strong, and an understanding which needs to be nurtured, because America, China, and Pakistan are up to a dirty game in Afghanistan.
Okay. Air Marshal Chaudhry, America is desperate to get back to Afghanistan and especially take control of the Bagram air base. And Taliban said no to them. How do you see these dynamics that he's not going to Pakistan, he's coming to India, the relationship between Afghanistan and Pakistan at an all-time low, given the ill treatment of Afghans by Pakistan for such a long time? They've used them, abused them, and now that acrimony is visible for all to see, Marshal Chaudhry.
I think Pakistan has, burnt its bridges or burning in the process of steadily burning its bridges everywhere. And with Afghanistan coming here as a significant aspect, coming closer to India as a significant aspect, because for the longest time, Pakistan considered Afghanistan as a strategic depth against India. And now clearly the strategic depth is disappearing. And, there are a whole lot of dynamics. They're trying to fish in troubled waters because they're looking at, they're trying to leverage the aspect that the US is waning foothold in Asia. And the only place which had, decent foothold was Pakistan earlier. And when Pakistan had shifted towards China, the US, do remember, the Pakistan has always been of a strategic space, which has always been central to the US requirements and long-term policies in this region. So they have been...
the last 30 seconds I have on this part of the show, how would you view closer ties between the people of Afghanistan and the people of India, even if it's the Taliban regime?
And I believe Afghanistan is an extremely important country, not for just Gilgit-baltistan, for the entire Indian region. And, that relationship need to continue to grow, because at some point when Gilgit-baltistan, there's no line of control anymore, and Gilgit-baltistan becomes this conduit for all the Indians to access, Afghanistan, Central Asia. I think this relationship is extremely important. We believe that Afghans, they are a true friend of India, and, they will continue to emerge as important friends when it comes to promoting strategic interests in Central Asia and, far beyond.
Yes, I will let that be the last word on this part of the show. I've run out of time, but this is a story we'll be tracking very, very closely. Afghanistan, India, a relationship that needs to be nurtured when you keep India first and national interest supreme. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me.